Woodstock, day 2. I'm glad to see this guy over here brought his date for the pay-per-view. A lot of sex going on with Plastic Woman over here. Hey, a local guy who has made good, a native of Frankfurt, New York. He's from the Emmy Award TV show Frasier. Say hello to Paul Cusimano. Paul Cusimano made good Frasier.
Hey! Fucking guy's on a rock, man. Oh, come on, you're making me proud of me. All right, you want to rock? All right. You're ready to give it up, man. From Detroit. Rockinest motherfuckers in business today.
Agree.
The devil without a cause.
TC and Jake. That's what's up.
Does he say this dude's on the rock?
No, do these dudes know how to rock?
That's what I thought, but that time it sounded like he's inferring that the MC was smoking some crack cocaine.
I mean...
And there's nothing in that audio that would indicate he wasn't.
Yeah, do you know either way?
Are you ready for this doc? When's it coming out?
I don't know.
Oh, that was almost perfect.
But one wonders if Mr... Like, people were on our Twitter feed. There is a documentary coming out about Woodstock 99, which, like...
The only one we recognize here.
How is it not before? You know, like, only one documentary about the most important event of our lifetimes?
Ridiculous.
It's like the good 9/11.
What?
Like, it's as impactful as 9/11, but it's not in a bad way.
Agreed.
No one died in the fires.
Might have to tell that to the Beastie Boys.
Did they die?
No, but at their acceptance speech for whatever came next, which To the Five Boroughs came out after 9/11.
That was like 2004.
Yeah, so whatever they were accepting an award for post Woodstock 99, they didn't give an acceptance speech. They wanted to talk about all the women who were sexually assaulted and raped at Woodstock 99.
Oh, yeah. No, that's, you know.
Hey, you're marching my mellow here a little bit.
It's not good. I'm not happy about it.
Of course not. So,
but you know, a lot of people died on D-Day, and we still say that D-Day was good.
That's a bad comparison. Really bad comparison that you're going to probably feel bad about one day. Let's get to the bottom of this whole...
No. Turning it off.
Thank you?
It wasn't for you.
It was
out of frustration.
The non-video audience, most of you will be happy to know that was not Kopech giving up a 3-run job to
I
walk it off.
Win in the books today, gents.
Yeah.
6-1 over the Twins.
Well,
Lance Lynn got his 100th strikeout.
In any case, it was
4 pitchers
England
on the staff with
doing whatever England is doing these days.
I love
in sports.
sports, except for whenever England wins, because fuck them. I'm feeling even more. I've never been more anti-England than after watching their favorite son lay out all of their many, many ill deeds in the popular documentary. Can't get you out of my head.
I'll try to finish in the next week.
Oh, we can't. Well, let's talk about the first 3 episodes. I'm not right this second.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the congressional investigation into who put hand, foot, and mouth disease into the kids' daycare. You have anything to admit?
No. We talked about this a little bit on the air today. I just want to know what that is.
Well, it's a disease.
See, that's what I was saying, right? That's what I was saying. Is like, okay, if that's the case, really boring focus group you brought in here in market research to name this disease. A little too generic. I mean, there are very few areas where you have more.
Had you considered coronavirus?
Yeah, that one's dope. Have you or not have you considered, but it's like you get pretty much carte blanche free reign when it comes to naming diseases. You discover it, you can name it that. You discover it and you have a friend you miss, you could name it that.
Woodstock 99 a virus.
You could name it that. But instead, you went with, I don't know, looks like it's on his, looks like his hand.
Oh, you missed one in his mouth.
I had the one on his foot, but you're right. I had missed the one in his mouth. And then fucking daycare is like, yeah, look out for rashes on their back. I'm like, duh! You had three body parts when naming the disease, and you didn't put the one that you're telling me to look out for in the title. It doesn't need to be a subheading.
Yeah, no, we got there Tuesday. They changed the diaper about 45 minutes in. They didn't like what they saw. We were turned away.
What do you mean?
Like that
she has it?
I mean, I don't know. She doesn't have a fever. She doesn't have, there's some disagreement internally within the family about whether or not this is a sore of concern or just the fact that, I mean, we're out at the lake. Like, I've got bug bites all over me.
Sure.
I think it's kind of normal, not that, but yeah, so I don't know. Because their thing was like, she can go back if she's had 24 hours no fever. And I'm like, it's had fucking months and months with no fever, including now. What do you want from me? But yeah, no, it was our very first, and if genetics mean anything, certainly not last. Yes, your child is in the office. Yes, I'm calling from the office.
Yeah, that's a rough one. We have had now two. Basically, this is like the Emmitt Smith rule, or maybe you could look at like the Saints Vikings pass interference. No, Saints Rams pass interference, where Nora on Tuesday, same day, apparently shit herself so bad that they had to put her in different clothes.
Oh,
and
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, so they sent back
Just
the
go
dirty
for
in a
it.
bag, and I guess they had clothes on hand, but that was the second time. I'll tell you about the first one in a second, less interesting. Where something that our child did resulted in a reminder to the parents. So if you
The parents.
if you saw a reminder, maybe Megan saw it about, please make sure that at the daycare we have a backup set of clothes for your kids. That's because we didn't. And the last one was we sent her to school a couple months ago in like open-toed sandals.
Can't do that?
Yeah, they were like, well, our playground is nothing but rock.
Oh,
It's soft rock, but that doesn't play well. And that day there was a notice that said parents.
all parents,
All
not
parents.
singling anyone else out.
No one at all. But please make sure that, So are we going to get to the bottom of this whole Netherlands-Holland thing?
Probably not. I don't think that we have the expertise required. No, we were watching Denmark put up quite a stiff, test of the Three Lions, the English national team. And we're just, I at first was trying to build, Jake was thoroughly uninterested in the Euros.
Yeah.
You want to defend yourself there?
That's all there really is to say about it.
It's just that you do watch the World Cup. Like, it's not like you are it's not like you feel about watching soccer the way you feel about playing golf. You are willing to do it in certain circumstances. And if those circumstances are not the semis of the Euros, then what are we even doing, bud?
I watch the World Cup when it's on, and mainly the only thing I'll stop down for is America, of course.
I mean, it was on. I just was working all day with it on in the background. It's a pleasant little way to pass the time.
I mean, how are you able to get anything done with so much drama?
Yeah, right. I went to pick up lunch. I got a barbecue baked potato.
I fucking miss lunch so bad, dude.
Do you not eat lunch anymore?
Well, I was telling Donovan this today because he was, before he left the station, ordering some Chinese food for him and Twig. He was like, we found this Chinese food place that we can't stop eating at. We love it.
Lunch Chinese food.
You ever fuck with like a Mongolian grill at lunch? That'll set you up right.
Seems like a lot.
I've never done lunch takeout, but I have certainly gone and eaten, But I just thought in that moment, like, man, I miss just being able to. I mean, I haven't done it in 10 years.
Yeah.
But it's
eating lunch.
Yeah, I mean, you're eating lunch as fast as you can, or at 11:45 in a 10-minute window, out of a microwave.
That's your choice.
It's not my choice.
The microwave thing. Everyone else gets hot lunch served.
No one else does that.
Oh.
I mean,
Well,
unless you're, I mean,
I
that's
haven't
another.
worked there in a while.
That's another part of the problem. Is
Used to be that hot lunch was an easy option.
we order lunch on Fridays.
What happens the rest of the time?
Bring your lunch.
How did you guys go from having perhaps the most impressive, well-oiled lunch machine in all of the office metroplex
Well,
to just Fridays?
I'm going to give you two reasons. One, Dan became a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And the second one is that
Sucks.
that system used to be set up on the basis of two men who made equal amounts of money and were both comfortable with what it took to order lunch for each other or possibly the crew on a every other
You don't
day
have
basis.
enough money for lunch?
No, I mean the point of doing it was that we would order for. No, do I have money? Do I have money to pay $12 for lunch every day? Absolutely not.
12?
For lunch?
Okay.
Dude, that's crazy to me that there are people that do that every day. Like, I don't know I mean, I don't know how, seriously, I don't understand how people, and even if you did have
I'm
the
doing
money.
pretty good, dude.
Huh?
That's the kind of budget I'm working with.
Yeah.
I can drop 12 on a lunch.
I
I don't
mean,
even think about it.
I can do it once a week.
That's literally true.
I can do it once a week. It is literally true.
I think that the potato.
Hey, you start paying that cell phone bill and then you start lunch shaming me.
Okay.
'Cause that's at least 12 lunches right there.
It's a couple lunches. I'm just saying the margin doesn't feel that thin.
I'm not paying $60 a week for lunch. That's fucking bonkers to me. Absolutely bonkers.
Now, what
Instead,
about this? I don't eat breakfast.
That's helpful.
So is your total lunch breakfast 12 or less?
I would say I get breakfast paid for once a week also. And it's typically $5 for 3 tacos at the gas station. But they're fantastic. They're fantastic. Instead, what we do, because we're an egalitarian culture, I probably do actually end up paying like $40 for lunch a week, every other week. Because every other week, Dan or I orders for the whole crew.
Okay.
Which is not always all 5, but spread the love a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Makes you want to really go that extra mile.
Yeah, I mean, he buys my lunch once every 2 weeks. I would like to die for him.
Well, somebody's buying your lunch every week. He and I are a collective unit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we take care of our people.
By
So anyways,
them
like
one meal every 2 weeks.
every week.
Are you unfamiliar with how often people eat?
I think if we're talking about like normal people, not like Patrick Bateman level office people, I would bet that you are in the extreme minority of people who would buy their lunch out more than 3 days a week. I would bet. People who work in offices usually bring their lunch. I think.
I don't know.
Sound off in the comments, ladies and gentlemen, and also tell me, what's the difference between the Netherlands and Holland? Neither are Denmark, but both. A lot of debate.
Yeah, I was trying to pitch Jake on getting interested in the Euros by pointing out that the weed city, Amsterdam, was in Denmark. Quickly realized my mistake. Said, no, that's the Netherlands. And then you somehow, or you were wondering if the Netherlands and Denmark were like part of the same unit.
Yeah.
I was like, well, they both field soccer teams. That can't be true. And then you realized that you were talking about Holland.
Yeah.
Now, that is where we currently stand.
And I don't.
Holland and the Netherlands. What's going on?
I think where we currently stand is about where we're gonna have our 2 feet planted. Because you got shit like this, right? Like the name.
Like sometimes we call it America and sometimes we call it the USA, but that's not that confusing to me.
No, because the A is right there.
Yeah,
Bright lights.
Yeah, I don't think the in the Netherlands stands for Holland or the H.
That could be at the bottom of this, but I don't know because I don't speak Dutch.
Yeah.
So.
What?
The name Holland is also frequently used to.
Where the fuck does Dutch come from?
Informally referred to the whole of the country, the Netherlands. The usage is commonly accepted in other countries and is also commonly employed by the Dutch themselves. Don't know.
Hollish.
Hollish.
Someone from Holland is Hollish.
No, they're Dutch.
I mean, I do know that, but I don't. You've not explained anything to me. With that
And I haven't
sentence.
explained anything to me. And I've looked this up before. Fuck, I went there and was like, am I in Holland?
You're just walking
Or am
around
I in
asking
the
people.
Netherlands?
Point
You're
me
like-
in the direction of Holland,
you're like,
my
it's
good
both,
man.
dumbass. Why are you buying McDonald's? So we'll probably never settle this. And you know what? Email TCFLEMI.
No, don't give out the personal email.
Oh. That's the personal email?
TC at itsjustbanter.com is my public-facing email.
Okay. I didn't know you had. I thought they were like linked.
No, there's separate inboxes.
Wow.
I mean, they all go to my phone.
You know who can afford?
Separate inboxes?
Three-
Literally everyone.
No, but I'm saying
they're free.
If you have 3 or 4 lunches purchased out per day or per week, I mean, you probably have 2 inboxes.
If you think it's 2.
You got, oh yeah, of course. You got a corporate.
Well, I got the
They
corporate,
hit you on your main.
and then the
I love when people say that.
the personal.
I don't even know what it means.
The personal filled up for the most part, and I didn't want to pay for more. So, and it's an annoying name, so I started a second personal
Well, let me tell you, bud.
in addition to the podcast, in addition to the business.
The personal would have cost you per month a fourth of one lunch.
I'm not paying that.
This is insane. This is insane. I have 2.
Don't you feel that's true of every single person on Earth?
what?
That you can find something
Oh,
where
sure.
they have an inconsistent view about like
Oh,
what.
sure.
Like one of my big ones is I get convinced that no one's properly calculating the cost of travel because they leave out the Uber ride to the airport. Like you're looking at that cheap plane ticket, you're not thinking about, well, then how are you going to get to the airport? And then think about getting home. Just double that bad boy.
Yeah.
Now you're over here being kind of dismissive because you live in the lap of luxury next to the airport. You
No.
can walk there.
Yeah, for that one I can, but here's even more luxury. I don't think most of the places I've traveled, obviously outside of the US I'm speaking of, in the last 10 years had Uber. In fact, I don't think I've been in an Uber in any of those countries. So you're talking about taxis, which then can become, I got fucking built in Santiago. And when we got out of the car and walked into the hotel, I could see it on the lady in the lobby's face. It was like a little hotel, but she was like, oh no. Like she saw the car and I was like, I knew it. And I told her what I paid. She was like, that's like 3 times too much.
Yeah.
But dude, Santiago Airport.
I mean, think about how hyped he was, though.
Oh yeah, we probably made his day.
Yeah, it gave joy to that man.
That's the most hectic landing I've ever had because you literally feel like you're the dream team landing when you get out of the whatever tunnel. You emerge and it's fucking 50 people running up to you.
Huh?
Trying to get your cab ride or trying to sell you
Oh,
something.
really?
Dude, insane. Like there's
Okay.
a couple hundred people literally waiting in through a terminal across like a 3-gate area and they just harangue.
Sir, what do you say about the allegations?
Yeah, that's literally what it felt like. I had like a newspaper over my head. and
Kristen's like, I'm standing by him.
yeah. She pulls the old McGreevy wife where she's
Yeah.
kind of there but not there.
Yeah.
And in the middle of that chaos, I got fucking chop blocked by
That's
by
why they do it, dude.
Of course, yeah, they create a cone of confusion.
Yeah.
You
No,
end
but
up susceptible to
I
it.
can get to DFW if I take the it's a short walk to the 31 bus. The 31 bus will take you to the Green Line, you can then ride one stop down to the Orange, get on the Orange and go to DFW.
That's
Just think about how much less that is than an Uber. So like you're right. Like I'm looking at the lunch thing. Like who the fuck cares? It's the same amount of money. Like I'm saving about
Yeah.
$15 by taking this public transport.
you got one lunch out of that.
That's like tripling the amount of time it takes me to get to the airport, and I don't give a fuck because I'm not going to pay that much to go to the
It's
airport.
fair. I mean, probably the other thing too is you've transcended humanity by just having, I mean, part of the lunch deal is I'm thinking if I'm paying for lunch, it's pretty tough to find something that you regard as like moderately healthy. At least I know if I'm parting with $12, I'm not getting a fucking salad from, Rabbit
Yeah.
Food Inc. That's
Yeah.
not happening. I'm not paying $12.
You want to see the list?
What you got? Lunch list?
Keep a paper. It's labeled lunch options.
God damn it, man.
Just pick something from that every day.
Oh, this all looks so good. In this moment, I am depressed.
They did close the East Hampton by us, so take that off the list. That was a tough blow for the area.
I was excited to see it, and now I wish I hadn't.
What do you think you'd want to pick off of there?
I would throw a dart, and it would be happier than the food that I've been eating in my life lately. That's right.
I got the Lover's Pizza and Pasta, premium meatball sub. Great lunch option there.
Please stop reading. Hey, did you hear somebody killed the president of Haiti?
I did hear that.
It's wild.
Yes.
Do you know the backstory on him at all?
I saw something about how there was some question about the elections, and he was like, just forget about it. Listen, don't even worry. I'll just govern for another year.
Yeah. So
Solve that problem.
True Anon did an episode on this and interviewed a lady, and
On the guy getting assassinated?
no,
or?
just on
Okay.
the constitutional crisis, because he was supposed to leave in February. So they had a lady on in like March.
Okay.
And the upshot of it is basically in 2016 he was elected, but there was a lot of controversy over the election. No way. Because more than once in the last 20 years, Western, American, I don't know if you would say forces. Yeah, maybe say forces. That makes it sound violent, but it wasn't always violent. Got a little chicanery in the Haitian elections. Changing votes, intimidating people.
You hate to see it.
And so he was elected in February of 2016, but the election was under protest and contested until late November 2016. And it might even have gone into 2017. And he's saying, tell me if you've ever heard anybody say this before. Well, I mean, you took like one of the years of my term away from me. I'm pretty sure I should get another. Even though it explicitly states in their constitution that once the election is no longer contested, you're fucking backdated. So no matter what, it goes back to February, I think it's 6th, 7th, whatever. Except, you may say, why in the world would this guy not understand that it's right there in writing that he has to leave February of 2021 until you learn that Dr. Biden's husband was asked about this, and he's like, yeah, he's going to be there through 2022.
Huh?
Yeah.
Why?
He's not the only one, but yeah, they're like, I mean, this is some, the why is that they propped him up, which is why I think when people this morning saw that he was assassinated, and it was probably, people doing the assassinating claimed they were from the DEA, and people were like, yeah, we heard some people speaking Spanish and some people speaking English with American accents, and it's like, oh, these are mercenaries. I actually think maybe more will come out, but I think this might be one where the guy got and it wasn't us. They got our guy.
Yeah.
Which
Like,
doesn't happen that often.
If we're tossing aside our values, hilarious of me to think that there were values at some point that one could toss aside. To say that he gets an extra year, then why would we kill him?
Yeah. I don't think that happened. Now, but it also does call to mind the fact that there are so many private paramilitary groups in the world that do so much shit that people never get charged for, never get held account for. And on one hand, like, that's deplorable. On the other hand, that's really cool.
What? I watched I think it was 2009, might have been 2007. It was a late 2000 odd numbered year. Movie State of Play. It's available on Netflix. Has Russell Crowe and Ben Affleck. And it's just at that time, it's like someone heard that Blackwater exists and then wrote a screenplay, like in a, whatever, a fugue state over the news that the BlackRock was there. Blackwater. I got it right the first time.
You did get it right the
credit
first
on
time.
that.
I mean, let's keep the good name of BlackRock out of this.
That's right. And yeah, it's an amazing document. Just, I mean, like, I don't know that they are wrong. Like, the central thrust of the thing is they're like, they're not just doing it out there. They're trying to control us. Like, the whole government is going to be run by pseudo Eric Prince, whatever.
What was his sister's name?
Betsy DeVos.
There you go.
And
I forgot a character from season 2.
it's like I don't know that we're like in a better spot now that it is normalized, but it is super normalized. And so watching something from back then, when it's like it's because Russell Crowe plays a Washington Post reporter, or Washington Globe, excuse me. So like with the way that everyone's jaws drop, where they're like, no, we're talking about like contractors working domestically. And and then the end of the whole movie, like, that's a hilarious part. The other thing is it was made during the time where, like, his big thing is there's someone else on the team who one of the bloggers is trying to get help from him, right? And so he's got but he's a newspaper reporter. He's got ink on his hands.
Of course. Yeah. Right in the shit.
And oh goodness gracious, I'm receiving a phone call. So like the whole thing, like, it's clear that the screenwriter is some old fuck who agrees with Russell Crowe's perspective on this whole newspaper v blogger thing. And so the ending credits is just like slow motion with like swelling music playing behind it of a newspaper being printed. You fucking nerds.
Yeah. So there are two things that grind my gears when it comes to storytelling. Typically, when portrayed in cinema, that's one of them. Like I watched probably 5 minutes of The Newsroom. Because I think it seems like it distilled down this very thing to its core. Like, look, we are the most important people in the world. We are.
Well, obviously, that's true.
Yeah. So
we deliver the news.
People who overrate.
That's the end. I watched the clip again of the 9/11 or the pilot Bin Laden. Whenever the newsroom guys, the clip that circulates every 9/11 of the newsroom guy being like, "Captain, we got him. I want to be the first to tell your crew," because the guy's like receiving news and he's getting worked up because he's going to be on a plane while it breaks that Osama bin Laden's been killed, and he wants to be out there delivering the news and getting credit for the story, basically. And so he's like getting pissed off, and a bunch of people are asking him like, what's going on? What are you worried about? And so he stands up to be like, listen, there's nothing to worry about, everyone. Quit asking me questions. There's no terrorist attack. And the flight attendant comes in and is like, sir, you do not speak to the cabin, which is fucking insanity. Like, there's been plenty of unhelpful flight attendants. Most of them are extremely helpful. I like them. But
Bold.
I've never seen one be like, you don't talk to my cabin. But he's
These
doing
are my
it.
serfs.
And then the pilot steps out and is like, do we have a problem here? And then he sees the wings. There's like a close, like a cut to like just a close shot of like the wings and like the shoulder lapel things.
Those are dope.
Epaulets.
Big in the MJ.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, his Michael Jackson style pilot's uniform. And then the guy's like in shock. He's like, sir, I want to be the first to tell you, you and your crew, we got him. We got Osama bin Laden. And then like everyone like claps, craps, and cries.
Yeah, I've done that.
And then whenever he sits back down, the guy who he was like distressed that they wouldn't be able to break this story, he's like, we did it. We delivered the news.
First of all, no, you didn't.
Yeah,
because
you just told one of the fucking stewardesses, dude.
Because the only way you knew is because The Rock knew.
Absolutely, that was clearly his source. It's
maybe
more implied in the show than stated, but
maybe The Rock only knew because of Jay Glazer. But I'm not going to give out that scoop.
You think that's true?
There's something in there like that.
I hope not. I hope that it wasn't Jay. Like, I don't want to live in a world where The Rock depends on Jay Glazer for sources.
Yeah, maybe it was just that The Rock, you know, because dude, one of the coolest
The
things
Rock
about
knows plenty of Marines.
yeah, one of the coolest things about being special forces would be the chance you could get to meet The Rock.
Yes.
I would rather meet The Rock than dust Bin Laden, frankly.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you see how well the guy who actually pulled the trigger was treated afterward. Not well.
Is that like, I feel like there's been 20 books by people who are like, did I pull the trigger? I don't know. We're not.
I think
allowed
there's
to
one
say.
guy that's pretty commonly accepted. I'm going to read you something from the Blackwater website
Okay.
because it's been through a bunch of name changes.
Yes.
Like at one point they were called, I don't know how to say it. It's XE.
Yeah.
Certainly they didn't name their paramilitary company after the president of China.
Maybe.
Maybe he wasn't president back then, but he will be now and forever. So they were Z.
I know a lot more about China now if you have any questions.
Why?
Because I've seen Can't Get You Out of My Head.
Okay. Well, 2010 to 2014, they were called Academy, except instead of a Y, there was an I.
Uh-huh.
Which is kind of like the military bro version of Biscuit with a Z.
Uh-huh.
After Academy, they were purchased, and there was a merger between a company called Triple Canopy. Triple Canopy and Academy, along with other groups that were part of something called the Constellus Group Package.
The Constellus Group Package.
And they are now gathered under Constellus Holdings, Inc. umbrella. This transaction brings together an array of security companies, including Triple Canopy, Constellus, Strategic Social, Tidewater Global Services,
Tidewater Global
National
Services.
Strategic
Jesus
Protective
Christ.
Services, and Academy Training Center and International Development Solutions. On the board of Academy at its inception, John Ashcroft, that should surprise no one. Former NSA Director Bobby Ray Inman, no surprise. And Red McCombs.
Oh, all right.
So,
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
willing to weigh in on whether or not Charlie Strong is qualified to be a head coach and also authorize kill shots for Colombian dissidents all in one day. What a life.
If you, ladies and gentlemen, sell enough used cars, this can be your life as well.
The whole kingdom.
Jesus Christ.
I have a couple
To have a
of...
fucking used car salesman, or whatever.
I don't want to demean that.
I'm sure he sold new cars as well. But just like a guy, like as long as you get enough car dealerships together, you can be on the board of a private military.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's America.
It's to America for me.
Speaking of car dealerships, I thought you would appreciate this. I got to buy a new car or another car. We're on our last legs, and we've been on our
Whenever you
last
say
legs.
another, what kind of gambling cocaine thing is going on here that you won't eat lunch or buy a new car?
Well, I've just always heard that like just buy one that's 1 year old, and you can get pretty much the same type of technology.
Yeah, but this is the 1 year in the entire time you've been alive that's not true.
Yeah, and I've learned that, but it'll probably. But I'm probably just gonna buy the same car. Just
Too.
The newer version of it.
What's the point of climbing this mountain to just still be sitting in a fucking Prelude? What do you got?
Yeah, it's a Prelude.
I don't remember.
So my plan here is, because I haven't done this. I've had this car for probably.
Ever since I lost the last one.
Yeah. So, but before that, I'd only had that one for a couple years, so I had to buy the other one.
If you want to get yourself something nice, you should sue the city for taking your first car.
I signed the lien over.
I know, but I'm just saying in the first place.
I don't think they took it. I think they had it recovered.
See, I mean, the fact that it ended up... So, for everyone who wasn't around for the start of this podcast...
This is like 10 and a half years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake had a night in Uptown. It was great.
I went to a wedding down there. There's a phenomenal venue down there, and it's a super cool spot. And we all went out afterward, and I had parked somewhere in Uptown.
Who was... did you have a date at the wedding?
No.
Okay. But there was some lady... Okay, I remember who now. It's not important.
But
You were leaving the wedding to meet a lady at a bar.
Yes, and I thought, this is how dumb I was at the time too about Uptown. I thought like you can just park your car down there. I didn't see any signs that said, it was a tow zone. It's the street.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I was
other cars parked on it.
Yeah, and so I just thought I'll just come back and get my car in the morning, whether I crash at somebody's house or whether I Uber home. I didn't think twice about that. I went out and partied super hard, and then I went back the next morning and tried to get my car, and it wasn't there.
Yeah, and there was some amount of not being 100% sure which street it was on.
Yeah, and honestly, I would tell you that...
So there was several hours of just walking uptown.
If I went down there right now, completely clear-headed, and parked my car, and I didn't specifically look at the street signs, and I went back the next day, I would not know where it was. All that shit looks exactly the same to me. I've never really spent that much time down there. So, like, I don't think it's that crazy that, like, at night you park and you're like, yeah, this looks... Because every house looks the same. Every street I was on, I was like, this is definitely the one.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't.
Yeah. Now, I knew him like the back of my hand, but that's because of the aforementioned well-oiled lunch machine. I was the tip of the spear at the time, just weaving in and out of these streets.
You were a great lunch man as an intern.
To be able to go and get some tasty food that cost at least $12.
And see John Wiley Price's bus.
Yeah, it's a Suburban. It's got his face on the side. Then he hops out of it. It says, "Your man downtown."
It was Dwayne Caraway's bus that got shot up.
That's right.
Okay, I was conflating the two, which is not racist at all, considering they actually got in a fight at a Christian radio station.
Yeah, they ran against each other.
Yeah, and then fought.
Yeah. Clear ties.
So after like a few, the insurance company asks you a bunch of questions. They ask...
But just what I think happened, and you have more information than me, so I am always interested in you correcting the record on this. What I think happened is that the city towed it and took it to a city tow lot, and then you did call the city, you called like a public number or whatever. We're like, hey,
I called the next day.
Yeah, here's the license plate, VIN, whatever, and they told you that they didn't have it. Now, I'm pretty sure that there was a scandal like some months later that they were regularly having issues giving people accurate information in those kinds of situations. So I think that they towed it. They didn't update the database to let you, so that whenever you called and they like type in the number, it comes back nothing. But the car is sitting in there.
That's entirely possible.
And then what happened like a month later is the insurance cut you a check. So it's the insurance's car if they can find it. And you just went and bought a new car, but you got a
I
letter.
bought the same car, by the way, too.
That's right. But you got a letter saying like, "Hey, we've got your car," and like you just chunked it because it's not your car anymore. Who cares? But it was I thought it was from the city like saying, "Hey, this has been sitting in our lot so long. We're going to auction it off if you don't come get it."
Yeah, I would have to recall the specific wording, but maybe I read it wrong. It said something like I thought it said your car was recovered.
I just think that's how they're phrasing. We towed it from.
Yeah, that's
Uptown.
totally possible. That's totally possible. So, anyways, gonna go buy the same car this weekend. Is the long and short of this. Mm-hmm. And since I haven't done it in 11 years, and I hate it. I'm sure everyone hates it, but here's what I'm gonna do. I might call the dealership tomorrow, and that will be the only pretense to this operation. Mm-hmm. Because, and maybe this is how I don't have enough money to spend $60 a week on lunch. I'm not going to go fucking haggle with anybody. I'm going to walk into this place, and I'm going to say, I want this car right here. You have several of them. It's the most popular vehicle in America. And I want to pay that amount. So go run my credit, and I'm going to put these headphones in, and I have to leave here in 45 minutes. Or if the credit check takes a little longer, we can tack that time onto the end. I know.
Do you want the clear coat?
No. And I said that already. Oh. I told you I want this car as is. And I know that you think part of your job is that you have to bullshit and small talk, but I don't really think you like doing that. I think you do that because...
That's where you're wrong, dude. They love doing it.
Okay, but I think partially that's a reverse psychology
Listen to those Bart Rager tapes. You're telling me that's a man who doesn't like talking?
Okay, but he didn't start... Maybe he was forged in the fire a little bit. Just tell the guy flat out, I'm going to listen to this thing. If you need something from me, go like this. And tap the table, and I'll know to take the thing out.
You're gonna tell them,
And then you need
give
to
them the tap protocols.
And then I will say, I'm going to make your job as easy as possible. Basically, you can take the next 45 minutes off.
Yeah.
I think you think that you have to bullshit.
You guys got a good break room around here?
Because you think most people like that. And you probably are right. But I'm not that guy, pal.
Are you?
Yeah, so let's just get this over with. I don't want to sit here and talk and bullshit. Don't ask me what I do. I know what you do. If I didn't want it, I don't really want to know, but it's only by the virtue of this relationship, the nature of it, that I have to. So I'm going to set the record for the shortest vehicle transaction purchase of all time.
Well, I mean, that's clearly not true, but
It's not done using cash.
You have to know that better men than us have gone in with this same resolve.
There ain't that many us's out there. That's the
truth.
The honest truth is that most people like to bullshit. And most people, especially once you get to the age of like 35, you really fucking love it.
Simmons asks people if he can go with when they're buying cars.
Bill Simmons?
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Because he loves it.
Of course he does.
He lives for it.
No. You know what? I will pay $14 more a month for this vehicle so that we can just get this the fuck over with. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to buy the car. We're going to leave. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to leave this other one here. I don't really care what you do with it. I don't really care what you give me for it. I know me. I wouldn't give somebody who had this car a fucking dollar. So
pay him to take it away.
If you feel the need, I leave my car running in my driveway for 2 hours every morning, hoping that I get lucky again.
Free car limit 1.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah. No, I mean, you rake me over the coals every single day about the cell phone thing. And if you only knew about my car buying experiences, you'd forget all about the cell phone.
Do tell.
No, just, Pops worked for a car company, so like we just go through fleet services. There's like a
that's not a term
price
that everybody knows.
It's self-evident enough. If the
fleet, that sounds like it belongs in the next to Academy and Constellas
yeah.
Global.
I'm a rear admiral
in fleet services.
Yeah. No, if you have a fleet of vehicles, like if you're, Hertz or, the city of Dallas or something like that, a taxi cab company.
Okay.
The way that they buy cars is, there's a set agreed upon price.
Buy in bulk.
Yeah. And there's people that handle that aren't salesmen. They're the fleet services people. And you just send them an email saying, I would like to buy this car. And they're like, here's the price for that car right now. It's, lower than most of the prices that other people who try to buy cars pay. And then you drive down and they hand you the keys.
Important note or sticking point here, though. Are you getting a discount or are you getting so you're still paying for the car?
I do buy them. They don't just give me the car. That's true.
I'm not that mad at that.
Okay, good.
Because you're not getting a discount on the cell phone. You're just flat out not paying for it. To me, the car thing is like, that's one of the perks of a relationship.
Yeah.
I don't fault you for that.
The price is great, but like it really is the
hassle.
Because those things are intertwined. Like I could also have a no hassle thing if I was willing to pay like 3,000 above sticker. Like they wouldn't like negotiate further, So clearly it's not the only thing that's going on is I want to have no hassle. But to know that like you're not getting dicked on the price and you don't have to hassle at all is freeing and wonderful, and I recommend it.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna start a stopwatch. In fact, I'm gonna show it to him. and I don't think
have you considered just being nice to this guy?
I don't think I'm gonna do it on my dude. In general, the nicest thing you can do for somebody is give them a break on having to talk to people, especially people that they don't know, like your friends. Chop it up.
It just depends. Some people do really like chatting.
Yeah, and I don't want to talk to those people. That's my point.
I know, I don't either. But I'm just saying, whenever you're saying I'm going to give them a break, and of all the groups that like self-selects for the chatty people, used car dealer is got to be way up there.
Can I give you 2 main characters?
Yeah. Well, I got some other stuff too, but yeah.
I feel like We Should Save can't get you out of my head for Patreon. I
I
have more time to.
I have much more.
I have no notes.
Can't get you out of my head.
All right, I'll save these two then.
Well, I don't want to kill the two entirely. I do have a thing that we do have to. We should have done this off the top. It's major news. I have a podcast announcement that I think all the listeners should know about.
Okay.
We've made an important update in our determination of justice and other important things. I have made the call. I think it's time. We need to move Andrew Cuomo to So They Got Away with That, huh? Congratulations,
Yeah, no,
Governor.
it's big news, Andy. I do feel like he's
Joins Ralph Northam.
He's crossed the
the
threshold.
fellow governor on the So They Got Away with That, huh list.
The thing you have to remember about Cuomo's, though, is he was crushing it in handling the pandemic.
By which you mean everyone was dying, but he was very confidently talking about that.
Okay, but a lot of those people were really old.
And he was lying about exactly how many of the old ones were dead.
So you're saying that he got away with it and also wasn't doing a good job?
It does seem to be the case that it was the trifecta. He was boofing the hell out of the job. He was harassing people left and right with a dinosaur grabber arm.
Dude,
And
I wish so bad that they could put that in some sort of a New York museum.
the dinosaur grabber. I realize this is a very inside joke. There's an episode of Cumtown where they're discussing Andrew Cuomo's allegations, and they're trying to describe, much the same way that we're trying to sort through the Holland Netherlands thing. They were trying to recall, like, three people with no information on the topic at all were trying to determine what exactly he did. And Nick offered up that he took one of those long dinosaur grabber. It's the black rod. We all saw these as a kid. It's all plastic, ends in a dinosaur's head, and there's a little handle at the bottom where you can make the mouth move. And they alleged that he was using that to make the dinosaur bite women's vaginas.
And I don't know that he didn't.
I don't either. I heard a report that he did from a reputable news podcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
So despite committing those crimes, and then the third thing, like the trifecta of things I didn't like about Andrew Cuomo is just that the your Clinton libs could not have been more stoked on the job he was doing.
Jesus
there was a
Christ.
widespread. How come we don't have just Cuomo run for president?
That actually burned for a minute.
Yes,
That actually did. And that's one of those
contested convention. Put forth Cuomo.
That's one of those. It happens probably once a month to me now, and this is a constant theme here. That's one of those where you could get into a conversation with someone, family in person or online, and they're like, "Hey, you're being critical of this, but you defend Cuomo." I'm like, yeah, dude.
Who?
Cuomo.
Are there three of them or something?
Yeah.
Is there a cool one I don't know about?
It happens a lot too when people are like, man, Nancy Pelosi's a socialist, and I'm like, "Bud, I am a socialist. I could not get rid of her fast enough if I could." By I am, I mean I identify with the principles that we should not have people
'Cause of the
die
ice
from
cream
being
thing.
poor.
Yeah.
But you just get caught in these spots of defending these nut sacks, and you're like, I guess I'm just not going to argue about this.
But I like
Cuomo got away with that, huh?
he could not. It looked like they really had him.
Ladies and gentlemen.
He was dead to rights. There was widespread. I think it's time for him to go by the sorts of people he would depend upon for support.
Yeah.
And he realized that if he just kind of didn't do anything, that no one could make him resign.
It was dope too how his brother was advising his his crisis
sitting in on
response
meetings,
team.
being like, "Well, let me tell you how my employer is going to spin this. Here's some ideas."
Oh man,
It's great.
Yep, no, free and open society.
Yep. That's what the documentary's about. How free and open everything is.
What are we at? 50?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll turn it over to you. I don't want to go more than like 20 or 30 more. I got to meet somebody. Very cryptic.
That was my big one. You got stuff. Do your stuff.
Okay, I will knock out a couple more. Can't get you out of my head. So we can maybe do it in 2 parts. Is it 6 or 7?
6.
Okay, 2 parts then. So my main characters. I think you'll enjoy both these. We're gonna start with this one, and you may have already seen it, but I still think it's worth talking about. It currently has 17,000 retweets. It was a poll that had 368,000 votes. No, that's offensive. The poll with 368,000 results, the answer no got 97%. The answer yes got 3%, which is a unique brand of ratioing.
Would you sleep with me?
Yeah. I'm hesitant to bring this up because he got routed so hard, but it was such a bad take that I wanted to bring it to you. This guy says, and again, he got 368,000 votes on this poll. Had this argument in a group chat, but I want to know the truth. Isn't it very tacky for somebody to eat the free bread as soon as you get it?
What?
People were so emboldened by this that 368,000 of them voted and 365,000 of them told them to fuck off. Let me show you something, rookie.
Truly embarrassing.
Press that button.
Yeah.
You eat that bread. You eat that bread out of the basket in the guy or the
Get
lady's
him to toss
hand.
you a piece as they're walking
Like a
up
seal.
to the table.
Like a little seal.
Yeah.
The second it sits down, do you have this odd fucking tackiness hang up for chips?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's how it scans to me whenever people are like, I can't buy lunch. Honestly. Like, it's all, I guess it makes more sense. But it's all people imposing restrictions upon themselves to prevent themselves from living life in the best way that they could.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like,
I don't want to defend my statement. Don't.
Okay.
Don't respond.
And we've moved on from that. The move, as always, is... What does tacky even mean? Is there a worse, like, just dork statement than calling... Hey, that was tacky. What does that even mean?
Yeah, and you're totally right. Like, anyone who's concerned... And I mean, whatever, dude. I'm sure there's things where... this podcast has come across people who are like, oh, that's beneath us. It's classless. Because, everyone does have a line. I don't want to act like I don't have a line.
But I would never call it tacky.
Yeah, I've probably used the word tacky legitimately in my life before. Not a lot.
It feels like something that I heard my parents say a lot, so
In
I probably
Pensacola,
have.
There's a bar called Tacky Jack's.
I like that.
And they got a odd paint job.
New Orleans, they have Krabby Jacks.
Oh, okay.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
You eat as much bread as you can the second they get it there. Because it's probably good bread. You're in a restaurant.
Yeah.
And then it's not like you're just opening up a thing of nature's own wheat at your house and like sawing through a loaf of bread. That's kind of weird. I mean, I'm not saying I've never done it. You eat all the bread. I'm not saying that. You eat all the bread the second they sit it down so that you only have to eat half to 3/4 of your entree so you have a treat for later.
They might give you more bread, too.
They probably will. And another thing.
You guys want a little more bread?
Hey, keep them coming. You flip the card over. Probably, whatever you're ordering, you're going to need that next round of bread to sop.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a big sop guy.
100%.
Good.
Elevates the bread.
This is our common ground.
Yeah. No, whenever you talk about, just the I wouldn't, it'd be an insane thing to call bread an appetizer, but I don't know what we're supposed to call it otherwise. These kinds of brief pre-meal free items at restaurants, whenever you mention them, one thing pops into my head now. This story has been told on Life Skills. I wasn't there for it. Alex was, but I've thought about it a lot since. There was a kid who was sent to Excel, and I was not there at the time that he was there. I never met him. But he was sent to Excel for gun running.
As a teen?
I don't know that he had a driver's license yet, but he loaded up a car full of guns and was driving them to Chicago from Houston so that he could sell a bunch
Jesus
of guns.
Christ.
I know. Like, there's a lot of kids where it's like, man, your parents did you wrong. But whenever you're like, so you're here to get out of a gun running charge? I'd say it worked out okay. But for the courts to accept that this was a good option for this man, they sent the lawyer for, like, the kid's lawyer went to Excel and sat in on one of the life skills sessions and, like, just watched them, tear apart some teens, give them some accountability.
And the lawyer came back and was like, it's worse than you think.
No, he came back and was like, Your Honor, this is a great solution for him. But at the end of the life skills, they kind of opened the floor up to the lawyer. They were like, you've seen everything here. What you got any messages for the kids? And the lawyer stands up, is like, yeah, I see what you're going through here. It's tough. Me, whenever I'm at a Mexican restaurant, they'll bring out the chips, and it's just like, I don't want to eat too many chips, ruin my dinner, but it's hard.
It's basically the same as kicking smack or divesting yourself from a gun running organization that probably has a price on your head.
Yes, counselor, that's it.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. I totally identify. Man, there's nothing that bothers me more than when we're at a Mexican restaurant or Tex-Mex or whatever, and the wife's like, I think I've had enough chips.
I don't want to spoil my dinner.
I was like, what is this enough chips?
They'll bring more, right?
Yeah, now I will tell you, I'm an oversaucer. Yeah. I think it's the right amount of sauce, but I routinely look around. My brother isn't. That's why I like going to these places with my brother, because he's kindred spirits. You will look around, and we're done before you have you. Yours looks the same as they just brought it, and that's kind of embarrassing.
Then I guess that you probably don't do my regular move of the like spacer chip. Just to kind of, like I'll have a big salsa chip, then I'll be like, oh, it's really kind of going crazy. I need something to sort of put out the fires.
So you put a dry chip in your mouth.
Have a quick dry chip, soak it up.
I don't hate it, honestly,
Soak it up.
but I don't want to waste chips that are not dipped.
I like it. I like I think the spacer chip, it's variety. It's
You're basically making a little sandwich.
Kind of, yeah.
There was one time on a Stars trip where we went out to a pretty nice restaurant because the team was paying for it. And it was all the PR dudes, the entire broadcast truck, our traveling party. So it was like 18 to 20 people there. Mm-hmm. Ralph was with us. This is back in the Ralph days. Chips. Well, I did order a soup.
They brought for 18 people.
I did order a soup. It was not a chip establishment. And when I finished it, I looked up, and three of the dudes who I'd become friendly with, but I had only met, the year before for 2 days, they were like, "Were you hungry?"
How'd you eat all that soup, bud?
They gave me the guess you weren't hungry type thing, and I was very sheepish in the moment. Like, everyone else was talking and socializing, and I was just fucking smashing minestrone. Like, waiting for another.
A little Italian wedding soup.
Like it. Love it. It's hard for me to find a soup I don't like.
Yeah, you're on the record about that.
Yeah. Now this one, not as main character, but I think it's going to rile you up a little more.
What about one with like white beans?
Oh, love that shit.
I don't like it.
I like white bean in a number of different. I like white bean and chicken. That's good. But I've just had regular white bean and vegetable soup, and I love it.
I don't like white beans.
You know what I do? Take that bread and I sop it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why I order soup, to enhance the bread.
This comes to us from this one didn't get as many impressions, but it's been in my head. Mm-hmm. This woman named her last name is Sachs, Sachs, and I think her first name is Honor, Honor. Historian, professor, author of Home Rule, Yale 2015. It wasn't Home Rule like the law on governance.
I mean, in the context of Irish history, it's the ongoing struggle to be able to determine our own laws.
All right, maybe that's what she wrote about, so maybe you're not going to have the same.
Probably not. It's a pretty like broad thing. I don't know that Yale's like super focused on it.
Okay, this one is basically. Okay, yeah. On America's western frontier, myths of prosperity concealed the brutal conditions endured by women, slaves, orphans, and the poor in, like, this is Kentucky, 18th century Kentucky. So probably very interesting. It's a nerd book.
Okay.
She has 21,000 followers.
Big ups.
And so she tweeted this on July 5th. Ruthie was great through her first fourth. Very chill. We will come to know that Ruthie is her dog. But I'm going to tell you that right now so that you can already start painting the picture.
Did she have her euthanized?
This may be worse. Ruthie was great through her first fourth. Very chill. Until some fuckwit kid threw a popper at her on our walk. Terrified her.
Yeah.
Yes, I yelled obscenities at the child.
Fair.
Yes, I yelled obscenities at his fuckwit mother who told me to calm down. I'm still seething. None of that is fair. This fucking epidemic we have of people who think that their dogs are kids has got to stop. And I understand that there was probably a time called my 20s where I was not as sympathetic to the plight of the parent as I am now. But wasn't when I had a kid that I realized, are you yelling at a child? You're cursing at a child because they threw a small, tiny... They probably did not hurt the dog, if we're being honest.
Yeah, if you're throwing firecrackers at
It's
dogs.
not a firecracker.
I mean,
It's
only because the kid didn't have one.
This is a bad take, man. But I'm glad we can embrace debate here because I was trying to put myself in the place
No,
of what
I
would
wouldn't
happen.
do it. If someone like if Megan did that while I was on a walk with her, I would be mortified and think that it was really a overreaction. But I think it's with like, you know, I have come to realize that like most people don't respond to situations that I do. I'm a little idiosyncratic. And so like I've embraced an acceptable range of responses, you know, of like, well, it's not what I would do, but it makes sense to me. And this falls clearly within that. So what are you saying he threw at her? Threw at the dog?
He said
Old Ruthie?
threw a popper at her on our walk, which is about the size of a dime, and it just pops. Now,
Did you ever put him under the toilet seat?
I haven't done that.
Good little trick.
That sounds great.
Next person sits down.
I mean, the extent of my
That shit'll come right out.
popper experience is just, I bet so. It's just we would throw
That's
them
why you put the
we
cellophane.
would throw them at each other's feet.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Like that was just normal, like 4th of July tomfoolery is throw them at each other's feet and you're like, I'm popping, I'm dancing, I'm trying to get out of the way. And it might
Make one of the younger kids eat one.
sting your foot momentarily.
I've never made someone eat one. Yeah.
It might put a little red mark on there. It hurts.
Does it?
It doesn't feel great. It feels like somebody briefly puts like a small lighter, like...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember it being
She didn't even say that it
too
hit the
big of a
dog.
problem. I think it didn't. I think it just startled it.
It said, some fuckwit kid threw a popper at her on our walk. Yes, I yelled obscenities at the child. Okay, listen.
Yeah, dude, just coming up to like a dog on the walk, like if you like dogs and want to pet them, like I get it, whatever. But just if a kid's approaching you in the situation that you're in and like doing something, like anything that's aggressive, like stay the fuck in your own space. Like
The kid or the dog?
the dog's on a walk. Like the kid runs up to a dog and throws something at it. Like even if it's not a fucking like a mild explosive, it seems fucked up.
It's like, we don't know how old this kid is, but he's got a popper and he's walking with his mom. So he's under 10. So you're telling me that if some douchebag Yale professor who's walking her dog and like at 8 years old, your kid throws something, a tiny explosive, throws it over at a dog, and the dog like says, "Ee, dodge that one," and she comes over and is like, "Hey, you little fucking shithead, you better watch what the fuck you're doing. Hey, you fucking cunt mom over here." I'm gonna tell you something, dude. This lady would not be tweeting or seething if this happened and like Nora at 5 years old was out walking with Kristen. She would have met her maker that day. You know how hard it is to keep from cursing in front of your kids? It's very hard for me.
I don't know how hard it is.
You have no problem with it?
No, dude, I don't care.
You're saying you just do it, or you're saying
Yes.
you just... Oh. Yeah, that doesn't seem... But whatever. I just don't want to. I mean, we already have a problem with it. I think I told you about that.
Yeah.
Dude, I just think the idea that an adult would yell at a child that's not theirs is like, I mean, there was once upon a time a short-lived NBC drama.
Yes.
Played on this very thematic.
Although no physical contact in this situation.
No, but I mean, that.
And that was a kind of family.
Yeah, what they were like. It was like an in-law.
Yeah.
The slap is what we're talking about.
I have seen
Of
the
course.
pilot episode, but I don't. I think it's like I think it's the uncle, but he's like the
Cool age of the.
fast-paced lifestyle uncle.
You need one of those.
Yeah. Like he shows up in the fancy car and everyone's like, does he have to do that?
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't understand the reaction of someone who, if you have a kid and let's say, like, I don't know how young they would have to be for you to be like, whoa, hey.
I mean, think about how mortified
right
you would be if your kid threw a popper at a dog. I would be, I don't know what I would do. I don't think, like, I'm not ever going to be the kind of person that's like, fucking, now you're grounded. So I'm still trying to, like,
Kid
work
doesn't know
out.
what it's doing.
Huh?
They don't know what they're doing. That's why you don't ground them.
Yeah, no, now obviously, but you said that they're 5 or whatever. You're saying in this situation, like where, she just doesn't know how to throw poppers right now.
But even at 5, like you have nothing going on upstairs. You just see an object and you're like, okay.
I would hope. I mean, it's no guarantee. Like I realize this is a situation I may find myself in. I'm not like saying that I'm above it, but I would hope that. Now she has like some concept that other people exist and have feelings. Like she says sorry about stuff all the time.
Yeah, for sure. But I just think it, like, let's say 5, 6 years old, they probably don't even know that this is going to hurt the dog. Like, they're just like, oh, I'm just throwing something that explodes.
I don't think that's true.
I don't know. I don't know. I do not understand the psyche of the person who would be yelling at a child that's not theirs over a dog.
You'd
That
really
seems-
like to avoid situations where you yell at other people's kids. I would.
I would say
certainly.
just don't do it ever.
Well, what if they stabbed you?
Now, that is a good point. Yell away as your last breaths escape your chest.
Thank you.
I think if you want to yell at the parent, go right ahead, although that pretty much puts the same trauma on the kid. But I think if you want to do that, at least you have some level of moral out of just like yell, hey, get your kid, man. That's not, you could have hurt my dog. Yell at the mom, but yell
And
at
it is like
yell
literally
at a
stimulating.
kid.
Like it's not like this lady was in like a prime spot to like her fight or flight's being activated at that point.
Over a dog.
No, over like just it's like no whatever. It's noise. Like it's fucking
Oh, you're saying the popper put this woman like
startles
she was
her.
on the front lines of.
well, just you got a kid running up to you, throwing a popper at the dog. Like the combination of the aggressiveness of the move, like the sound and everything. Like it's just I'm sure her adrenaline was up. That sounds likely to me. Like I would say, anytime you're yelling curses at a child, your adrenaline's probably
I would
up.
hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, this was one of those scenarios where I found myself thinking, boy, I wish somebody would. I really wish that I hope I end up in a situation where someone wants to yell obscenities at the kid.
I don't know. I feel like that. Like if I were, I guess I'm just repeating stuff I've already said. But if I were in that situation, my primary emotion would not be anger at the woman. It would be the fact I was mortified that my child had just done that. That would be the overriding thing for me.
Man.
And I mean, it depends on what she said and like plenty of other stuff too, right? If she's in the neighborhood, like if it was,
Yeah.
I can think of people on your street that if it were them, then the lady right there. Like if it's her that's like cursing at the dog, then it's like, oh, shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
Like fucking back up or we're hitting you with 2. You know what I mean? Like so
I'm
it's
locked
all
on.
if you know how much you know about the person and everything. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I guess my only like axiomatic statement that I'm making here is just in any circumstance, I would hope that no matter how fight or flight I felt, that I didn't yell at a kid. Now, kids
Yeah,
like 13,
and if someone's
14,
cursing at
I
my
might
kid,
yell.
I would defend my kid. I'd be like, hey, listen, like I would feel mortified, and I would feel like my kid was deeply in the wrong. But I'd be like, yeah, this is probably a little too far. Like, let's just try and not curse the children. Maybe, try to be an adult. I was gonna say use your words, but she is using some words.
Oh yeah, we're big use your words fans.
Yeah.
But she said I yelled obscenities at his fuckwit mother who told me to calm down. Well, I don't know what the nature of her telling you to calm down was, but that seems like a pretty appropriate response to you're yelling at my kid. And she's like, hey, whoa, calm down.
I think the first thing, hopefully, that I would get across is I'm like, listen, the adults here, we agree. The child should not have thrown the popper at the dog. I'm very sorry about that. Could we resolve this in a way that is a little more like, a path towards a full resolution rather than just angry people expressing things at each other,
And then you just put out your palm, you make a fist, and you say, it's best of 3.
Best of 3.
You want it right now?
We going on 3 or on go?
You want it right now?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, because the IOC is still looking into your methods, so I don't want to fall prey to whatever it is you're doing. It's the wrist. That was a great line by Brick. I think that he was legitimately concerned about what was going on with your wrist, but the idea that it's something in the wrist. I see it. I see what he's doing.
It's very
his
much
wrist.
he's got bad feet.
Yes.
He lost because he had bad feet.
That fucking rules.
All right. I guess we can plan the next show like where people don't have to listen to us talking about it. So we'll just end.
Okay, we'll end. All right.
That's it for tonight. The high school special is next, so until tomorrow, for everyone who's been a part of this one,
I'm TC and Jake.
we do thank you for watching. Good night.